Ag tilu is ag thro, a caihan an tida a law.
That's Molly and Carmel.
Look at this picture. So this picture now we're going to look on is, it's also dated from the 6th of June 1944 in dealgan. So this is the day we talked about earlier, where you have the person, this is the day for clothing, is that right?
Yeah.
And that's Molly Hudson, your friend.
Yes.
Yeah. And beside her there's,
Carmel
that's
Whela.
Carmel Whela.
I remember Carmel came in to me the night that Kiva was born. She came into the nursing home and she said she was engaged to a fellow reporter from the Manchester Guardian. And she said to me, I said to her, I was delighted to hear she was engaged. She would have been 10 years older than me. But she said, I think we'll get married. Because there's not much point in him being in England and me being here and us being engaged. That's ridiculous. So she decided that she'd enter instead. Enter the convent. So she did.
Right.
And she was, what age was she now? Lil was 27 when she joined. She must have been 37.
When she joined,
Yeah.
she was 37. No, she wasn't a spring chicken.
She was chased by some fellow from Blackrock, and he used to be outside the Legion waiting for her every night. And
Religiously.
yeah. And she got fed up with him.
Right. So that day that Molly, what age was Molly then?
She was only barely 18.
Barely 18 when she went into the nuns.
She was only 17 when she went in.
Right. And had you been in school with Molly, or how long had you known her beforehand?
Well, I'd known her always. They were on the Republican side of politics. And she was in the dancing class with me. And she was always very fat. And I was always very slim. With all the dancing, you know.
Right.
But she was really Ina's friend. But seeing that Ina couldn't go out, I stepped into the barrier and I was able to fill in the gap. But now Molly was wonderful and she's still going strong.
Right. So again, why did they join the Franciscans, or why would they have gone up there? Why didn't they join the Dominicans, for example?
Well, she wasn't at school with the Dominicans.
Right.
She was at school with the Mercies.
Right.
But at one time, we used to do a retreat from the Children of Mary every year. And we had to be at 7 Mass every morning. And at 7 in the evening, we had to go for a lecture.
A lecture?
Yeah. And Father Nash was giving it to us one year. And I remember the first night we went to the evening lecture, he said, Lord, what wilt thou have me to do? And that was an open question. So what would anybody want to do? So Molly was very quiet when we came out. And I was astonished because she was, what we used to do, we had to wear a hat, you see, going. And that would have upset our hair. So we'd come out of the convent and go over to our house and do up our hair.
After the
lecture.
Right.
And on the way over, I said to Molly, God, you're very quiet. Don't say you're going to join up. And she said, don't say a word to anybody, but I'm thinking of it.
Right.
And I said to her, you better go to Carmel and talk to Carmel about it. Because Carmel is older, you know. And and Carmel, she went to Carmel, and Carmel said she was worried because Molly was illegitimate
Right.
in the sense that she wasn't, it wasn't that she wouldn't know, but it was a time of an awful lot of trouble in Ireland.
Right.
And like the things that are going on now, Molly's sister, now I'm talking about sisters and sister-in-laws you wouldn't know, but I said to her, Molly was when she went to Carmel, Carmel thought this would be a problem in letting anybody into orders.
What, the fact that they were born out of wedlock, or?
Yeah.
Right.
So
That's
it must have killed Mrs. Hudson, the fact that the child was born out of wedlock.
Right.
Because afterwards Molly was minding her sister's children, who was actually her mother's children.
Right.
And she wouldn't have known that it was her mother. And Mr. Hudson was wonderful with Molly. He reared her the best of everything. And he said, when Molly came home, she said, Daddy, she used to call him Daddy. He was actually her...
Me daddy, isn't that what she... I've heard her call her... She used to call him me daddy. I've heard her
Me
the last time
daddy.
she'd call him me daddy, yeah. Right.
And she...
But he was actually her grandfather, is that?
He was her
okay.
grandfather. But nobody ever knew that.
Sure.
And nobody ever referred to it. But she... it was a very closely guarded secret. But this time Mr. Hudson came in and said, Molly, I was thinking of retiring because my time will be up in the ESB, you know. But she said, oh, don't worry, Daddy, because she said, I won't be here. And he nearly dropped dead. So Molly was such that she would come out for a walk and she had to be back at a certain time to make fresh bread for her daddy's tea.
Right.
And she did everything for her daddy. And he dressed her to the very best. I think it broke his heart when he went.
When she joined up, yeah.
But nevertheless, he did his best. He never tried to stop her, you know.
This was recorded with Maura Egogan on Friday the 17th of June 2011.